Our cup runneth over on this day. You see the squad here. We put together our Wednesday team, and Peter Schrager with us as well, and he is going to kick it off to start this morning. We're looking ahead to week 2 as we turn the page, and Peter's going to drop some Schrager bombs. Peter, what's the first note you have for us out of New York?
Greeny, Jackson Dart Watch is officially on in New York. Yes, it's not going to happen necessarily to start week 2, but everyone is well aware of how week 1 went, and that Russell Wilson's on a 1-year deal. It's basically a rental for this season. Jackson Dart is way ahead of timeline. And the front office and the coaching staff is well aware that this guy might be ready to go sooner than they maybe originally anticipated. Number 2, Jared Goff set up.
Hold that thought. We'll start with one, and we're going to come here. We're doing things a little differently this morning. He's going to drop a bomb. We're going to react, and then we'll keep it going. So he says that it may be time for Jackson Dart sooner than we. Why are you giving me that look?
Jackson Dart's like, stay out there, Russ. Stay out there, Russ. I don't want what you're getting. I mean, did you see how Russ got hit? You think he wants to go get behind that offensive line and what they did the other? Absolutely not.
I mean, my biggest concern is I heard Peter say that maybe he's ahead of schedule. I'm not sure that that's true. I'm not there, obviously, but it seems like what happened on Sunday is influencing the way that they are trying to develop Jackson Dart, which I think is concerning. That could be a mistake.
So that Daniel Jones performance got everybody fired. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Go, DJ.
So, I mean, if Daniel Jones becomes this year's Saquon Barkley, we're going to have a whole other conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But we're a long way from that. But here is the reality of it. We talk about quarterbacks being ruined more than they are developed in this league. I feel like the Giants have to be very careful not to cave into public pressure. The world is clamoring. They looked just awful last week. You got to play Jackson Dart when it suits Jackson Dart, not when it suits the rest of the organization's timeline.
Yeah, there's no question about that. But who's to say that his time isn't right now? Who's to say that in practice he already looks like he's in command of this offense? Quite honestly, they can do some things with this offense they can't do with Russ. Remember in the preseason when they went no huddle and a lot of the plays that looked like, hey, they had been talking to Lane Kiffin down there at Ole Miss, and it looked like they were running an SEC offense. That can help this offensive line. Go a little bit faster, get the ball out of your hands quicker. Jackson's a better runner. I say by week 4 or 5, they play New Orleans. Down in New Orleans, he'll be in there by then.
What are you hearing out of the Giants, Kmart?
Well, I think at this point, they're looking at Jackson Dart knowing that we have the future in front of us. But what you were just saying about he could be ready, my thing is then why wasn't he the starter? It's been 1 week. Why wasn't he named the starter from jump? If all of the things you're saying, if one bad game from Russell Wilson is the thing that's going to make you turn about face.
You know how these NFL head coaches get. You know how they get. You know how those head coaches get. They just they want to stay with their guy until it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
It's getting close.
He's our guy, win or tie. Not lose. Okay, that's Schrager bomb number 1. Peter, give us number 2.
Jared Goff has a surprisingly huge week 2 matchup now against his former OC and play caller, Ben Johnson. I don't think anyone anticipated us to be saying the Lions are in this situation, but here we are, Goff, week 2 against the guy that is now getting a lot more credit than maybe he did last year, Ben Johnson, for what the Lions were on offense. But on week 1 in Green Bay, Jared Goff had the least yards per attempt he's had since his rookie season. The running game wasn't existent, and the offense looked inept. Suddenly, it's Goff versus Ben Johnson, and it might be a very important week 2 game for the Lions.
Look, I mean, we're going to do a little segment later this morning on overreactions from week 1, which I know we're sometimes prone to do, and I raise my hand. I certainly am. But that was alarming. What happened to Detroit at Lambeau Field. And if it doesn't look a lot better against the Bears this week, then I think it becomes a 5-alarm fire.
Yeah, look, the offense looked predictable. It looked stale. It looked stagnant. Obviously, going up against a Green Bay team that was pretty damn motivated and had a guy who was playing out of his mind as far as his hustle and intensity. But look, John Morton, offensive coordinator, there's no question that the bullseye is on him.
Amen.
Because every single call that he makes, they're going to say, Ben wouldn't have done that. Ben wouldn't have done that. Ben would have done that. And that is some tremendous pressure to have to work from him.
Yeah. It's Morton versus Ben Johnson. It ain't golf. That's what he's got to look at. That's the true, that's where the pressure really is. They look inept on offense. And you heard Dan Cameron, we can't rush the ball for 2 yards a carry. We're supposed to be the most physical team in football. They were not last week. They better figure it out.
That's what it comes down to. This team is built to operate in a very specific way. When the running game falls apart, everything else in this offense gets a lot more difficult. You're expecting Jared Goff to be like a Peyton Manning-esque pocket passer, picking teams apart. That's not what you want him to be.
The funny thing is I want to see if Ben Johnson is able to neutralize the Lions Or is he going to realize, man, I wish I had those players still?
Yeah.
So it's a complete.
They've lost them all.
Both of them.
All right, Peter's got one more Schrager bomb. Peter, go.
We got a booty on Thursday night. It's Commanders versus.
Let's go.
Oh, drop that octave. I see you.
Look, those hit tones. And I'll tell you, what I love about it is the matchup. And I'm going to say this. Jaden Daniels is going up against the best defense in the NFL on Thursday. I'm already jumping the gun. Packers look that dominant against the Lions. They're doing it in their home building. And with Micah Parsons on the squad, watch out.
I don't know how they do it. The NFL is unbelievable. They give us all these great week one matchups, and then for the first Thursday night game of the season, 5 days later, they give us the heavyweight fight that everybody wants. Jaden Daniels on one side and Micah Parsons on the other. And you were telling me this morning, Micah played 29 snaps on Sunday.
And that is more than Matt LaFleur expected him to even play. Micah lobbied behind the scenes to get more action in that game. 10 days after he ended up in Green Bay. So now the question for the Packers, I think the challenge is we were going to ramp up his reps as the season goes along, as he gets acclimated. But you're on a short week. So that's the issue there with Micah. Do you give him more? But he also knows his opponent very well in the Commanders, so we'll see what he's able to do.
All right, so Nick, let's set the stage for what is at stake here. You got Daniels on one side, you got Micah on the other. What is at stake for the winner of this?
The winner of this game becomes the front runner and challenger of the Eagles. We're going to determine who we expect, and I think coming into the season, everyone was high on Green Bay, and a lot of people were saying Washington could regress. I think the way that Washington's D-line and that whole team honestly looked last week is like regression isn't a possibility. They could improve, and we'll see how good they are going up against this Green Bay Packers team.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. And when I think about this football team, the thing that I loved most was Dan Quinn. Their running backs, the Washington Commanders running backs, were the most effective in the NFL last week. They will have to do that against Green Bay. You do not want this to be a drop-back game where you're playing into the hands of that Green Bay defense with Micah Parsons. Go run it at him, make him play both run and pass. Do not become predictable. If you're predictable, they will light you up. And I think Dan Quinn, knowing Micah the way he does, will know how to attack him in that run game.
Lewis, what exactly is the formula? I know you have a tape for us. What exactly is the formula for Washington against this defense?
Well, I think, one, as Jeff alluded to, you're going to have to really establish the run game. You have to really put Mike at the point of attack. And then the other thing you need to do is you can't have him just sitting there in the pocket on the spot where Micah goes, I know exactly where you are, so I know exactly what rushes I need to go ahead and execute. You got to move the pocket on. They did this last week against the Giants. What did we say about the Giants all preseason? That they could have one of the most fearsome pass rushes in the NFL. So what did Cliff Kingsbury do? He changed the launch point. Jaden's one of the best run-pass option quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the best dual threats in the NFL. And his QBR outside the pocket is just sick. You can see it right there. That way, Micah can't really get a beat on him. That way, you can kind of change your blocking schemes. Maybe get a little chip on him, bring somebody down in short motion in a reduced split. Chip him, pin him inside, let Jaden get out on the perimeter, and then he can hit those deep 7 routes as he did on the first one. The deep comeback here like he does on the second one. That's what he lives off of. Yep. So look, Cliff's going to have to be on it. Because if Micah knows exactly where number 5 is, that's when he hunts you down.
And can I add to this just really quickly? When you start doing those pins, like where you're putting everybody in motion, you're chipping, you're giving Micah Parsons a number of things to think about, and also it moves the defense. So now not only does he have the pass option, he can pull it and run it, which Daniels can do as well as anybody in the league. It opens up a ton. They will be very creative on how they find and figure out how to block Micah Parsons.
Can I bring up something at the risk of being yelled at or laughed at? I was told Micah Parsons had a problem with his back. I was suggested to me that was real. And then he went out and he played the other day, and Kmart said he was lobbying for more snaps. Now they play again 4 days.
It was real, Grady.
My back.
Football players are superheroes. He fought through the pain, and he might have taken some drugs or whatever. He got it done. I believe the man's back was hurting him just because he's awesome.
That's what you know. What he should get his shirt with that and just have my back.
You know why his back was hurting? Because he was carrying the Cowboys defense for the last couple of years. That's why his back was sore.
His back.
Now his back is fresh out of Green Bay.
His back may be hurting carrying that bag of money.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
There we go.
Congratulations.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is for him to then turn around and have to play a Thursday game off the Sunday. Is there a
That's legit.
Every now and again, the host has a legitimate question. Is there any concern to that whatsoever?
No, it's early. It's
25?
It's early in the season right now. I mean, guys are still fresh. I think if we're talking about November and December, that may be a little bit different of a story. I think Micah right now, There's so much juice and adrenaline flowing through him that even if there is a legitimate back tightness, whatever it is, I think he'll be good to go.
Not his money. He wants to
He
show
didn't
up.
go through training camp, but he can't be any fresher. Like that offensive line, we got to block these clowns that stay fresh. It's unfair. There should be a rule set in place.
He's chasing down Daniel